It's hard to believe it was nearly half a century ago, but on August 16, 1977, America woke up to heartbreaking news. The king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, was gone at just 42 years old. I remember being at a small inn in Nova Scotia, far from home, when the TV news broke. Words failed me, I could only stammer out old clichés. The bartender, seeing the shock on my face, shared a memory of when Elvis first came on the Ed Sullivan Show, singing Ready Teddy. His voice cracked as he said, "Boy, he was good, that was it." The realization hit, Elvis was not just a performer, he was a part of our fabric, our culture. His absence felt like a gaping hole in the heart of America. Elvis wasn't just a musician, he was a mirror reflecting the diverse musical tapestry of the South. Growing up, my family listened to everything from rhythm and blues to big band music on the radio. When Elvis appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show, my father, who loved music as much as the next person, exclaimed, "Boy, he's good." We knew right then that Elvis was different, that his music spoke to something real and familiar. Even though some parents frowned at his style, we saw the truth in his music. It was like a blend of everything we loved, gospel from church, blues from the radio, and country from home. Elvis didn't just sing, he brought together the sounds of our shared heritage. The world struggled to make sense of Elvis's death. For many, especially those of us from the South, he was more than a celebrity. He was a neighbor, a friend. The grief was palpable, but it quickly turned into a mix of nostalgia and confusion. People tried to find humor in the situation, creating a national joke out of his image. In 1992, the U.S. Post Office even held a contest to choose between a young, pretty Elvis and an older, jewel-encrusted version for a new stamp. We chose the pretty one, but it felt wrong. Elvis was more than looks, he was a cultural icon who had changed the face of American music. As the years went by, Elvis's legacy became even more complicated. Some ridiculed him, reducing his image to a caricature in a flashy suit. But beneath the jokes and the ridicule, there was a deep longing for connection. Elvis had touched so many lives, from the humblest towns to the brightest cities. His music was a bridge, connecting people across lines of race, class, and geography. When he died, it wasn't just a star that fell, it was a piece of our collective soul. The shock of his death was followed by a search for meaning. People flocked to Graceland, his Memphis home, to pay their respects. It was as if they were trying to hold onto something real in a world that suddenly felt less certain. Elvis had been a constant, a familiar face in a rapidly changing world. His music had been a source of comfort and rebellion, joy and sorrow. Now, without him, we were left to grapple with what it meant to lose such an integral part of our cultural identity. Elvis Presley's life was a testament to the power of music and the human spirit. His death left an empty space, but it also ignited a conversation about who we are and what music means to us. In the end, Elvis was not just a performer, he was a reflection of America itself, a complex, sometimes rough, but always authentic portrait of our nation's soul. Elvis Presley appeared out of nowhere in the mid-1950s. His music was new and exciting, and his personality captured everyone's attention. People went crazy over him. Teenagers were wild with excitement, while their parents felt worried about his provocative style. Girls were so into him that they would damage his cars and strip him in their imagination. Elvis was a huge deal across America, a phenomenon that no one had seen before. Ed Sullivan, a famous TV host, was so shocked by Elvis that he said he wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Many people outside the South thought Elvis was uncouth, coming from a humble background in the South. His music had roots in rhythm and blues, often associated with black culture. To some, his music sounded like mysterious jungle rhythms or voodoo doings, yet Elvis had a special power. He brought together different groups of people and offered them a sense of freedom and hope. He mixed the best parts of various American musical styles into one unique voice. Like Walt Whitman, Elvis was large and contained many different things. He broke down barriers and opened the door for new kinds of expression on radio and TV. Elvis's rise was incredibly fast. He became a millionaire in 1956 with 10 songs in the top spot on the Billboard charts. His first national TV appearance drew 54 million viewers, an unheard of number at the time. In just a few years, he went from a regional star to a national sensation and then to a Hollywood icon. He was a mix of endearing and threatening, with a talent that was hard to categorize. Elvis's success shook up the calm, conformist 1950s America. The country was worried about the Soviet Union and nuclear bombs, and people longed for simple happiness. But issues like race were also boiling over. The Supreme Court had ruled against segregation in schools just before Elvis started his career. This made him a symbol of integration, something both black and white musicians appreciated. Little Richard, a legendary musician, thanked God for Elvis, saying he helped pave the way for black musicians to reach a wider audience. Later, Eldridge Cleaver, a leader in the Black Panther movement, credited Elvis with helping to spark the social changes of the 1960s. Elvis dared to interact with black people openly, something that was not done publicly before. This boldness was revolutionary. As Elvis's music challenged norms, so did his stage presence. He was nicknamed Elvis the Pelvis because of his suggestive dance moves, which made some people uncomfortable. He would often break the fourth wall, talking and joking during his songs, making it clear he wasn't meant to be taken too seriously. Despite the criticism, Elvis knew he was expressing genuine emotions. The sudden fame Elvis experienced was unique. Few people have ever achieved such global recognition so quickly. It's hard to imagine the weight of such fame and success, especially when you haven't prepared for it. It's like comparing it to astronauts walking on the moon. Both events were watched by billions and left a huge impact on the world. Elvis's influence was just as massive, changing the face of music and culture forever. Elvis Presley's journey to fame was unexpected and overwhelming. He dreamed big, wanting to be a star like those in Hollywood. But fame hit him hard, faster than he could handle. He was a dreamer from Tupelo, Mississippi, not Hollywood. He loved music and wanted to make a name for himself, but the fame that came was beyond anything he imagined. Elvis came from a simple background. His parents, Vernon and Gladys, lived in a small area of Tupelo, working hard just to get by. They were not rich, but they were close-knit and loved music. Gladys was known for her dancing, especially her buck dancing, which her neighbors said came naturally from her. Vernon was dreams-filled but struggled to make ends meet, working various jobs during the tough times of the Great Depression. Elvis's parents married young, with Vernon only 17 and Gladys 21. They adjusted their ages to get married legally. Gladys was beautiful and loved to dance, while Vernon was good-looking but often seen as lazy. Despite their struggles, they found joy in music and dreams of a better life. When Elvis was born in 1935, things were tough. His twin brother, Jesse Garon, was stillborn, which left a deep impact on the family. Elvis felt responsible for his twin, and this loss stayed with him. His mother, Gladys, held him very close, sometimes carrying him while she worked, which made people say he was spoilt. But Elvis grew up with a strong bond with his mother and a desire to lift his family out of poverty. Living in Tupelo was challenging. It was a small town with clear social divisions. Elvis felt out of place when he went to a bigger school in Tupelo, where kids made fun of him for wearing overalls. His family, though humble, tried to maintain dignity and pride, teaching Elvis to be respectful to elders and authority figures. This upbringing shaped him into a young man who was polite but also felt the weight of being different. As Elvis's talent blossomed, so did the fame that came with it. It was a double-edged sword. While he achieved his dream of stardom, the fame was intense and hard to manage. He was thrust into a world far bigger than he ever imagined, struggling to balance his true self with the image of the king of rock and role that the public expected. Elvis's story is about the clash between personal dreams and the overwhelming force of fame. It's a tale of a man who wanted to be big, but whose life was turned upside down by the very success he craved. His journey from a small town in Mississippi to becoming a global icon is a reminder of the complexities of fame and the human spirit's desire for recognition and belonging.